Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you some book recommendations that could get you out of a reading slump if you are in one, or just more like fast-paced books that are very fast and easy to read to get you to your reading goal, for example. So the first two books are two books by the same author. So the first two books are, I'm just going to go with the first book. So the first book is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I think thriller books are very good to get out of a slump. They are very fast-paced, especially Frida McFadden books, in my opinion, are very. I've read two by her, and both of them are very fast-paced. I read them very fast, and there are a lot of plot twists that are happening that want you to keep reading, and I think those are books that are very good to get you out of a slump, for example. So the housemaid is about this girl, and she gets to be the housemaid in this family, in this house, and the couple living there, they are like, they have their struggles and they're very rich, but the woman is acting very weird, and the guy, the husband, is also very acting weird, and the thing was, at some point I thought I knew what was happening here, but then it turns out I didn't know. There are two more books, I think, in this little world. I haven't read them, but I mean, if I really like the first one, I think I would like those two as well. And I think I don't want to spoil too much about these books because they're thriller books, and I think it's very good to go into thriller books without knowing too much, so you really don't know what you can expect from that. So yeah. And then the next book is also a book by Frida McFadden, and that is The Boyfriend. This is also the same fast-paced thriller book, and you have different POVs. I think there are two POVs. I read it last year, and I also thought I had to figure it out, and then I didn't. I will read the blurb of both of these because I just don't really know anymore what I can say and what I can't say. So I'm going to do The Housemaid first. Every day I clean the Winchester's beautiful house top to bottom. I collect our daughter from school, and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and our husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I only try one of Nina's pristine white dresses once, just to see what it's like, but she soon finds out, and by the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. But I reassure myself. The Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of. So that sounds really intriguing, if you ask me. And then I also read the blurb for The Boyfriend. Okay, The Boyfriend. She's looking for the perfect man. He's looking for the perfect victim. Sydney Shaw, like every single woman in New York, has terrible luck with dating. She's seen it. Men who lie in their dating profile, men who stick her with the dinner bill, and worst of all, men who can't shut up about their mothers. But finally, she hits the jackpot. Her new boyfriend is utterly perfect. He's charming, handsome, and works as a doctor at the local hospital. Sydney is swept off her feet. Then a brutal murder of a young woman, the latest in a string of death across the coast, confounds police. The primary subject, a mysterious man who dates his victims before he kills them. Sydney should feel safe. After all, she is dating the guy of her dreams. But she can't shake her own suspicions that the perfect man may not be as perfect as he seems. Because someone is watching her every move, and if she doesn't get the truth, she'll be the killer's next victim. I really liked what Frida McFadden did in the book. I really didn't expect the twists that were going to happen. I really thought, I know how this is going to go, and then I didn't. And then things happened. I was like, oh, so it's not what I thought it would be. So yeah, I think our Frida McFadden books are also very good to read if you're in a slump. I think a lot of thriller books are, but those are just the two books that I've read, and I read them both very fast. So yeah. Now going into my favorite genre, the genre I read the most. I've got 4 books in this genre, and that is romance. So I've got 2 books that have some spice, that definitely have spice, and 2 books that are less, with there is some spice, but a lot less spice than in the previous 2 books. So yeah, first up is a book that I think if you know me by now, if you've seen me on my channel, you know this is one of my favorite authors. This is my favorite book. I read the book 3 times already, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. So I I just love this book, and maybe I'm biased because that's why I'm putting it on the list, but I think it's a really good book to get you out of a slump or to reach your reading goal, for example. Ellie Hazelwood is known for writing STEM romance. This book is about Olive, and she's a PhD student at the university, and she has her best friend On, and On has a crush on the guy Olive used to date. They went on a few dates, it didn't turn out, and Olive is fine with it. But On, her best friend, is like, no, I don't want you to be hurt, and I don't want to put you in a difficult position, so I don't want to date him. And Olive's like, you can date him, but On is like, no, no, no. And then one day she said to On that she was going on this date. But she wasn't going on a date. She was just going to the lab and work on her research. So yeah. And then while she's at the building, she all of a sudden sees On walking to her, and she's like, oh boy, this is not good. She thinks I'm on a hot date, and she isn't. And then when she sees the first guy, she just kisses him, and that is Adam Carlson. Adam Carlson is the professor at the same university, obviously, where Ella works, at Stanford. Adam is like, why is this girl kissing me all of a sudden? I mean, you can see it. This is what happens. So yeah, it's a little bit awkward in the beginning, but then after everything happened, Olive explains why she did what she did, and there's some joke running between them, and then they're like, Adam's like, I think I have an idea. Maybe we can pretend to be dating for your friend On, so she can date Jeremy without feeling bad for you. That's what they're doing. What they're going to do, they're going to fake date. And oh my god, it's perfect. I mean, I've read this book 3 times. I think you know I love this book if I've read the book 3 times already. There's also a movie coming, so maybe this is your sign to read the book now if you haven't, to read it before the movie comes out. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very fast paced. I really love the STEM aspect in this book. There are also some things that are talked about in the book in the STEM world, especially being a woman in the STEM world, and it's really hard sometimes. There is a lot of spice in this book, so also be aware of that going into that if you don't really like that. So yeah, really, really love this book, and obviously highly recommend. Then the next book is actually part of this interconnected series. I just finished the whole series actually in the summer, and I'm just going to grab the first book and talk about the series as a whole. So that is a Lakefront Billionaire series. So you have 3 books by Lauren Asher. So you have Love Redesigned, you have A Love Unwritten, and A Love Arranged. So these 3 books are interconnected. You don't have to read them in an order. You can also read just this book and don't read the others, or you can only read the second book and only the third book. You can do whatever you want. Just know that they are connected with each other. You will see characters from this book in the next book, in the 2 next books. So yeah, what I really like about these books in general are they are very fast paced. Even though they are very thick, it would seem intimidating, but don't get me wrong, it is intimidating to see this and think, whoa, that's a very long book, especially for a romance. But they read so fast, you get so sucked into the story and want to know what's going to happen and know their story, and you feel so connected to the characters, you really don't mind that story is that long. Especially I had it especially with this book and the last book, because they're both 5 stars for me. So yeah, so in this book you follow Julian and Delia, and in the second book, Love Unwritten, you follow Raphael and Ellie, and this is a single dad trope, and she's a nanny. And this is more like enemies to lovers kind of thing. It's also kind of a small town, so that's also very fun to know. And then the last book, Love Arranged, is between, so the last book, Love Range, is between Lily and Lorenzo, and that's also fake dating, so also very fun. So yeah, I highly recommend these books. They're very fun. This is like, they're both like interior design. There's some rivalry between them. It's also, they're all connected because they're all like kind of a family, and I think that's really fun, like the found family in all of them. That's, I just really like that, but also spicy. So yeah, then the next two books are like books that are also romance books. They're just not that much spice as in the previous two books that I remember. So the next is also part of like this interconnected series, but also same, you don't need to read all of them. You can read one, two, or none. That's up to you. But I'm just going to grab the first book and talk about it. So, the When I Roam series by Sarah Adams. These are very quick, easy reads. I really love Sarah Adams. I really discovered her this year, and I really think she's one of my new favorite authors. A lot of her books are more like closed doors. I don't think, I'm going to see. It normally should be in here if there is some explicit content in, but I don't think it is. Otherwise, it would be written here. So yeah, so you have, so far there are three books. You have When in Rome, you have Practice Makes Perfect, yeah, and you have Beg, Borrow, Steal. And in December of this year, the last and the final book will come out, and that is In Your Dreams. So this is also set in a small town in Rome, Kentucky, and all of the main characters are also connected. So you start with this book, and then you have Noah, and Noah is a big brother of, not a big brother, he's just a brother of the three other girls in the next book. So you have three other girls, a woman in the next three books, and they're all sisters, and he is a brother. I really love that these series are just so cozy, and the small town vibes are really small town vibing and hitting, and I really like that. And also the connection between the characters, the banter, the writing style. So, I mean, there are very short books, and I really like that. So, I mean, these books could be longer. So, yeah. But yeah, so this book follows the first book. You follow Amelia and Noah. I think the next, I really don't know because they're here, but there are three books, and I'm really excited to read the next book, but I have to wait after my book buying event is over. So yeah, but you have, so When in Rome, he is a baker. Love that. She is a actress, no, a singer. Then you have in Practice Makes Perfect, you have, she is like more of a, yeah, in Practice Makes Perfect, you have the sister. I think she's the youngest sister of the three sisters, and she's like very, she seems very innocent, but she's not what you think she is. She has this florist shop, and then the MMC in the book is the bodyguard of Amelia, and then in Beg, Borrow, Steal, the last book that is currently out, you follow the next sister, and she is a teacher, and then you have this guy that is also going to be teaching at, he's also a teacher at the same school, and there's also some rivalry between them going on. I really like that. And then the last book is about Emily, I think her name is, and she is a cook, a chef, and that's kind of changing childhood friends to lovers, I don't know, but I'm very excited about the book. So yeah, I really love this book. They're very fast-paced, and they're very small, and all of the characters are so cute. So highly recommend. And then a final book, not the final book, the final romance book is also one of my favorite authors, because I can't make a video without talking about one of these authors, especially in a recommendation video, and that is Emily Henry's A Funny Story. So I chose this book specifically because I think it's the best book to get you out of a slump from Emily Henry. I mean, Happy Place and the other books, love all of her books obviously, but I think this one is the best to get out of a reading slump, and the most that is fast paced and with the most fun concept to read about. So in this book we follow Daphne, and Daphne is going to get married to Peter, but then all of a sudden Peter says, hold on, no, we're not going to get married. So yeah, a little bit awkward because she just moved to this town where they're going to live. So that's difficult. And then he says, to make it even better, he is still in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. Yeah, Peter and Petra. Very funny. The thing is, she has to live somewhere. She's like, I don't know where I can live. But the thing is, Petra also had a boyfriend, and that is Miles Nowak. Right? That's his name. I know, but it's definitely Miles. So they ended up together. So Daphne is going to move in into Miles' apartment. So that makes a really funny story, you know? I just love this book. I really want to. Maybe I'm going to read it soon. I don't know. Maybe I am. Just talking about it makes me happy. The thing is, I really love this book. I read this book almost in one day, in one sitting. It's insane. The writing in this is so good. I mean, I've tapped a lot of it. The romance is good. The banter is good. There's some definitely very, very beautiful quotes in this book as well. I mean, there's nothing I can say that I didn't like about this book. And even though there are some subjects that are really, I mean, Emily Henry writes romance books, but I think it's so much more than just a romance book. And especially with Funny Story and Happy Place, I think that is. So yeah, definitely a book that could get you out of a reading slump. Also maybe put you in a reading slump because it's just so good. That's also a possibility. I'm very sorry. I hope it won't, but you never know, of course. But Funny Story by Emily Henry is Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. This is a paranormal romance. So this is the first book. The next book is coming out in October. So you follow, this is like a werewolf vampire book, and love that. I mean, who doesn't like vampires slash werewolves? That's just so fun to read about. It's, I mean, some people really don't like this book, but I really love it. I'm going to reread it if the next book comes out, and it's May. It's coming out in October. So if you haven't read this, take this as your sign to read it, and then you can immediately read the next book when it comes out. So Bride follows Misery, and she lives in this human world, but she has to go back to like the vampire world, etc., because she has to go marry the alpha of Beck, the werewolf called Lo, because the father of Misery wants to unite the werewolves and the vampires together, so everything is yay fun and everything is fine. But Misery has its own reasons. I'm just going to read the final of the blurb here. So, because Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, and even if it means a life alone in a world territory, alone with the wolf. I really love this book. I mean, it's Ellie Hazelwood, so obviously I liked it, but it's so different from Ellie's other books, and I really liked that about it. It's also very fast paced. It is just definitely the perfect time to read it now in the fall season coming up, so things that's your sign. So yeah, Right by Ellie Hazelwood. These are all the books I recommend reading if you're in a slump, if you want to reach your reading goal for this year. I hope you got some recommendations of books you maybe didn't read there, or maybe you were planning on reading them, so take this as a sign to read those books now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you next time, and happy reading!